was a productive player for this club for a long time.
With Maurer at first base, I imagine, is he primarily a DH at this point, or just when Joe needs an off
he's primarily a DH, but he can play first. We'll make sure that he gets his reps over there in pregame and so forth, and make sure that he has a glove in his hand on occasion. But for the most part, he's a DH, and if Joe needs a day off, and Gardy deems that Morales or Parmalee or whoever needs to go over there, that'll be up to Gardy.
Has Ron given any indication on where he plans on batting Kendrick in the lineup?
I didn't even ask him, but I don't know where to put him. I think it's safe to assume he'll be somewhere in that 5, 6, 4, whatever he. Production usually deems where he end up. Not only him, but other guys. The guy's got a pretty good track record, so he'll be around that area somewhere, I suspect.
Is it a possibility that it's longer than a 1 year?
Well, it's a one-year contract, as you saw, but just like anybody else that's not signed long-term, you can always visit it.
Is there any limitation on giving him a qualifying offer after the season? Is that something you can be built into there?
Well, he's a free agent that's signed, so I suspect that we would have the ability to give a qualifying offer.
Are there any details? Would you say, I'm sorry, would you say that, so this is a move because nobody's pulled away from the pack and stuff like that, so you have a couple pitchers that aren't exactly lighting it up either. Are they on the clock here, or?
No one's on the clock, Tom. Some guys, you're going to struggle, and all of a sudden they spin one up there, and you say, okay, you can build on that. Veteran pitchers specifically, they have a knack of being able to figure it out. But the roster's fluid. You can always do things with the roster.
I want to clarify that qualifying offer point because he hasn't played the full season with the Twins.
Yeah,
Is there draft
I'm not
compensation?
real sure. I'll have to check on that.
Okay.
But I suspect he signed as a free agent.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that has any influence on the qualifying offer. But if it does, we'll adjust, and if it doesn't, obviously we can adjust that way as well.
Was there a lot of competition for this?
I don't know. You'd have to call the agent. That's the way that works. Free agency, you don't know if there's 1 or 21. I suspect there's competition because he's got a bat, he's a switch hitter, and he's got power, and he's got the ability to drive in runs. And once, we got through the draft, I suspect it probably spiked up.
How important was it to wait till the draft started so you guys didn't lose any draft picks?
Well, we're gauging exactly where we're at. We're kind of hanging around. So, all right, we're hanging around. You wait till July 31st, or late July. Why not go now? It's just like making a trade. You don't have to give up any players.
Were you surprised when he said yes?
No, I wasn't surprised because there was mutual interest. He had interest in us. The ballpark, you're always worried about a hitter coming here and whether or not they're going to be a little timid on signing with the Twins when they're a hitter, especially a power guy. He didn't seem to be bothered by it.
He missed all the cold games, too.
I'm not sure he would have been thrilled coming here in April or May. How about yesterday? Yesterday it was freezing. I'm glad we didn't bring him in here yesterday. He probably would have got on the next jet home.
How key is that to hear from guys like that when you ask them, or they talk about this ballpark, that they're not intimidated by it?
Well, this ballpark's starting to play much fairer than people were giving it credit for. There was a day that balls weren't traveling out of here. All of a sudden, I think we're probably in the middle of the pack as far as home run production from both sides. This stadium is starting to get back to the point where you'd say, all right, it's not a great hitter's park, but also it's a fair park. So players, I think, are starting to see that. I think you saw balls go out of here the other night to right field, where that kid hit that ball in right field. You don't see balls go up there often. Well, the ball's traveling better.
Terry said, why not us? So can this, just as far as the guys in the clubhouse, can this go a long way in sending the message as far as the confidence you guys have?
I'd hope so. That's a spin-off of any signing or any acquisition. That we've got some confidence in this club. They can do some things. Adding a bat into this thing when we're struggling offensively. I don't know where we are on runs right now, but I suspect we're not up there with some of the most productive clubs by any stretch. This will help Gardy maneuver around that lineup. You know, he can move people around where exactly they might belong. I would say that the players in that clubhouse probably feel pretty good today about bringing in a guy like this.
You know, that was the Colorado Avalanche theme all season, their slogan, "Why not us?" Is that what you heard?
No, and I watch some hockey, but all you got to do is look at the standings, Tom, for me. You know, we're right with a pack of, I don't know, how many clubs are right there with us? Well, we can do something just like anybody else. Let's give it a try.
Hey, Terry, as you watch Joe, and I think he's at what, 270-ish right now, does there ever come a point, having seen him as long as you have, where there is concern about what's going on with him offensively? This is just so un-Mauer-like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
compared to the
it
past.
is un-Mauer-like, but he'll get going. His track record's too good. His health's good. There's no reason that he can't string together about 4 or 5 games here quickly, and all of a sudden we say, he'll return. Guys with his type of ability, they have a way of figuring things out. He has hit in some tough luck. I think that's a fair assessment. Not that I've seen every game, but I've seen a lot of them. You know, he scorched that ball yesterday. I think it was right up the middle. You know, with the shifts and so forth that are going on nowadays, some of those things that are base hits years past aren't any longer. But ultimately, he'll figure it out and he'll get going.
It's kind of what hurt Jason too, his inability to deal with the shifts a little bit. Right?
I don't know. But,
You've never had a full-time DH in quite some time. Anyway. Is that something you've tried to avoid, or are you?
No, that's not something you avoid, I don't think. But if you've got a guy that's the ideal DH description, this guy's probably it. You know, there's one other one that I had once.
I hadn't heard. Is Oswaldo?
He's in the lineup today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
In the field.
Dustin, is Arcia DHing or playing out the outfield? DH. Okay.
Did you pursue Kendris during the offseason as well, or was this more of a recent development?
We dabbled. You know, we dabbled. Any free agent has ability. We dabble.
Okay. So you dabbled about as much as you would with any free agent that has ability.
Oh, I don't know about that. We might have dabbled a little deeper.
Okay.
You always said that you've got room in the budget to spend more if you need to.
Well, we just spent a little
Yeah.
bit here, so I guess that's a true
Are
statement.
you tapped out now?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see where we are as we progress through June and July. As we say, all we got to do is, if there's something there that looks like it makes a lot of sense, I pick up the phone or walk down the street. This, for me, made a lot of sense. And a lot of us, not me, all of us in the baseball world has just made a lot of sense for this club right now.
Thanks for your time,
Thanks.
Terry.
You're 80%. You look great.